Welcome back to a slice of news where I cut you off a slice of news. In one of President Trump's numerous unhinged Truth Social posts, he announced that he will be imposing a 100% tariff on, quote, any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. He says that he believes that the movie making business has been, quote, stolen from the U.S., calling out California and Governor Newsom, saying that the state has been hit hard by films made outside the United States. He kind of just said this. There was no context. There was no idea of, when that will start, what they will target, just tariffs on non-American movies, whatever that means. And you remember, this isn't even the first time that he did this. He said something very similar a couple months ago, back in May, saying that he felt that other countries were giving too many tax incentives to filmmakers to get them to film over there instead of over here in US of A. But he kind of either forgot about that or backed off on it back then, and I guess he was reminded that he wanted to do that and has proposed to do it for real this time. And the thing is that it's not like a tariff on steel or soybeans or furniture or some tangible good, some tangible thing even. Putting a tariff on non-American movies, it's putting a tariff on intellectual property, on something that's not tangible. You can't point to it and be like, yes, this is the thing that is being tariffed. So I don't even know if he knows what he's saying. He just likes to say, I'm tariffing that, I'm tariffing that. But what exactly this is going to entail is unclear. Whether or not he can even pull it off, I think, is unclear. And I'd be willing to bet that this is all talk. This is all just nonsense, his usual nonsense. And it's going to go nowhere because I don't know how you tariff a non-physical thing like non-American movies. Honestly, I think we're all kind of getting tariff fatigue at this point. He's been tariffing just about anything and everything you can think of. And despite his claims and claims from the administration, I'm really not seeing any evidence that these tariffs are doing anything good for us. So it's at best just looking like he's doing something proactive. But really, it seems like all these nonsense tariffs are really just hurting Americans and are bad. So one more tariff now on something as vague as he's trying to tariff here on non-American movies. I don't really see how this is going to do anyone any real good. I guess if you had to make some sort of argument, you could say with the over-reliance with computer graphics that modern filmmaking has, there's almost no reason to film anywhere on location. You can pretty much just film entire films on a green screen and just superimpose them into just about anywhere on Earth. I guess if you wanted to, you could say all American studios should just film all movies on a green screen in the United States, and they can just pretend to be in other countries. So you don't need the tax benefits that foreign places give to come and film in their actual physical locations. You just film everything on a green screen and just computer graphics the people into the other locations. But I certainly don't want that to be the state of American filmmaking, where nothing is filmed on location. Everything is just filmed on a giant green screen in like a warehouse, and it's all CG. I mean, I'm sure Trump doesn't even understand how films are made, and he doesn't know what he's talking about, as he doesn't know with so many things. But I guess if you needed to make an argument, which I'm not saying this, but if you needed to make an argument for only filming everything that is an American company in America, you could do it. You shouldn't. I don't think you should, but you could, I guess. Part of the problem is that we have a president who will just say things to say things. He'll say he's going to do something so that it can be reported that he said he was going to do things, so that supporters can point to it and say he's going to do things, but he very clearly doesn't have an intention to do most of the things he says. It's all just talk. And part of the problem there, of course, is that it's impossible to differentiate the stuff that's all talk and the stuff that's actual actionable stuff until sometimes it's too late, because it's already started before anyone realizes, oh wait, this one was real. This is something he's actually doing. If it was pretty much anyone else, I would almost have to congratulate them on that sort of genius strategy of keeping people guessing until the last minute of what are you really going to do. And that way they don't have time to come up with strategies to stop you, because they didn't know you were really going to do it until you did it. But Donald Trump is not a great strategist. He does not have an analytical mind, someone who really plans and thinks. He's just a guy who just says whatever he's thinking, no matter what nonsense it is, no matter if it's even possible to do. He'll just speak. He'll just say things. He has just a mouth that will not quit. So I don't think that this is some sort of clever, insidious strategy. I think he just talks, and sometimes the things he says are done, and sometimes they're not, and I don't think he often knows what of the things he says is actually going to happen, because he just says nonsense words. He just says plans and thoughts and puts them out there, and maybe he gets lucky and some of them stick, but most of the time they don't, because a lot of times they're not even possible. They're completely illegal, although sometimes them being illegal doesn't stop him. But he just says, I'm going to do that. I'm going to tariff this thing. I'm going to change that thing. And a lot of times they're not going to work, or they get caught up in the courts. And even if he honestly thought he could get away with it, it doesn't end up happening. Or sometimes he knows he's not going to get away with it, and he also knows it's going to get caught up in the court. And so that way it just gets stuck for a while, and the opposition can't do anything about it because it's just trapped up in the courts. And honestly, the domestic film production is kind of an odd place to try to be sticking his finger in, because honestly, while I think there is an argument to say that there's a lot, or maybe even excessive amounts, of foreign influence, in the sense that oftentimes movies now are being made not with a domestic audience in mind, but for a foreign audience in mind. They're thinking, well, how can we make a movie that appeals to the Chinese audience so we can make all the money when it gets sent over there? But this isn't that. This is just trying to make, American movies made in America only. But movie making isn't limited to the country in which the company that makes it is based out of. So this idea that American companies need to make American movies in America doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, especially when you're bringing in tariffs. I mean, who exactly are you tariffing? How are you collecting tariffs on this? It doesn't make sense. It is very illogical, as unfortunately so many of the things he does and says are. So that part isn't all that surprising. When I read about it back in May, and then again today, about how he plans on tariffing foreign-made movies 100% tariff, I rolled my eyes, because I was thinking, how is this even going to work? What does it mean to tariff foreign-made movies? It's just words. It's meaningless nonsense. But I guess the question is, what sort of is his real plan? Is this part of some sort of greater strategy, greater plan? Is this yet another distraction from the impending release of the Epstein files? I don't know. It's very unclear. It seems very ridiculous and silly, but other than that, what else it is unclear. Well, that's not entirely true. There is one thing I think we can agree it is, and in the words of Governor Newsom in a recent post that he made onto Twitter/X, it's 100% stupid. That much is absolutely clear. Whatever else it is 100% stupid. And I don't really see how anyone can take it seriously, but the threat of these sort of actions, the threat of a 100% tariff, while ridiculous, I guess has to be taken seriously on its face, and just see if anything genuinely comes from it, which would not shock me if nothing came from it, and this was just a bunch of hot air nonsense, as he is known for producing. Just a big nothing. But it remains to be seen going forward what to expect from this, if anything. As with everything this buffoon of a president we have does, I'm going to keep my eye on it, but I'm not expecting much, if anything, to actually come from this. If he even somehow tries to follow through on it, which I think there's actually a good chance that he's going to, just like May, say he's going to do it and then end up doing nothing, because he loves talking and then not acting, because as a weak leader, that's something that he does. But we'll see. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this episode of A Slice of News. I've been your host, Mr. Slice, and until next time, when I cut you off, another slice of news.